Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. Today I have a very interesting guest that we've met at Swiss Yarn Festival. And the first thing I remember about you, every single person wanted a picture with you because of the pants you were wearing. And I'm going to put the picture here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Christoph, Peach, welcome to Fiberchats.
Hello, Irina. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you. Working in a family owned business that's been like it's fourth generation, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Heard it's
yeah.
like over 130 something years.
Actually, last year we had our 135th anniversary,
Wow.
so we are spinning already quite a long time. And basically, yeah, also it started, as far as I know, when we got some raw wool directly from the sheep owner. They brought the wool to our company. We started washing it, making a carding fleece, and they took it home in the winter time or fall time, and they didn't have a lot of work on the fields for. They started hand spinning it and knitting it for some regular goods like hats or sweaters and stuff for the regular use. Yes.
So back then you weren't like the mill wasn't spinning yarn and dyeing yarn. It was just to basically like work the fleece, right?
Yes, at the very beginning, we really made the fleece and then they could do the hand spinning. But I don't know exactly when we started also the spinning process. And I guess even my grandfather started already the dyeing part.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, we are a pretty unique company in Switzerland. We process the raw wool all the way through the finished 50-gram balls at the end when it's twisted, when it's dyed. So it's yeah, pretty unique.
I find it very interesting and very unique because when I talk to people who are farmers here in the US, the most common complaint I hear is that it's impossible to find the meal that's gonna do small batches. Like if they say let's have 10 sheep, right? And it's not tons and tons of wool, but like a few
Mhm.
kilos of wool. To find somebody who is willing to deal with it is like practically impossible here. Tell me why you're doing it.
Also basically when we about 20 years ago, I took over the company from my parents. And at that moment, we basically did almost 100% just for felt making. Like we took the dyed carding fleece and we sold it for felt making for all different types of things. And this trend went a little bit back, so we had time for the regular spinning, for making carpet wool, for hand weaving departments. And in the last couple of years, a lot of small sheep owners, small farmers, they thought, we have so many requests for what do you do with your wool? And most of the time they just told us, well, what you want to do? It's not like a very soft merino wool, but I really would like to do something. But and before we bought like the small spinning machine, we told them, well, you can bring the wool, but you have to bring around 100, 200 kilos. And for most of these clients, the amount is not the problem. But at the end, you have 100 kilo of wool in one color at home, and they didn't have the place or the need for 100 kilos. So they basically they do it one time, and at the end, when they retire, they still have some wool left. And that's why we came up with the idea of the small spinning machine. So instead of making only 100, 200, 300 kilos or more, we went basically the opposite way. We broke the machine down. We bought the machine with only 12 spindles.
Mhm.
So basically, we can run 2 kilos, 3, 4, 5 kilos on each color. Especially when you have like a lot of customers that like the alpaca wool, which is for me, it's like a little bit like the Swiss merino wool because it's a really soft, a really nice quality. And usually in Switzerland, we don't have this really fine, like merino type of wool. We only have like the Swiss Alpine sheep or the black nose sheep. That's even worse when you talk about the fiber thickness or the softness when you want to have the wool on your skin. And so we got a lot of requests from this alpaca owners, and they want to produce or they want to run or they want to spin their wool. And basically they bring us the wool, we wash it, we make the carding process, we start the spinning, twisting, and at the end they get their wool back, which is for their customer again very important that they know I want to buy wool from your animals and not like something from all over the world, all over Europe. And that's something that is right now really, really important for our clients.
Well, it's also, I feel like this everything changing and all the awareness about the environment and environmental impact, like people wanna see this traceability back to the farmers, back to the animals, and know like where that came from, that it's not just some random wool. It makes it that much more special to know that it's from
Yeah.
this farm, or this animal.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically that's what how should I say? Well, basically, I guess that's really the part that's because we are still here, because we survived. Because if you just wanna buy a sweater or if you just wanna buy some wool for knitting, you will find many stores to find cheaper wool to get different colors, different shades, and everything. Um, and I think with all the trouble, a lot of the problems we have on the world right now, it's it's a little bit hard or bad to say, but for us, it's like a good thing when because our customer, like you said, they really want to go back to the roots. They want to know where comes the wool from, where is the production made, and basically we are not some place and have just an online store. You can come to the factory store. You can take a look at the machines. You can take a look at the production. The whole mill is basically open, and I think that's for the client, for our clients, one of the most important things.
Right. Well, how did you learn? I mean, I understand that this is 4 generations of your family running this mill, but what's your earliest memories of the mill, and what was the learning process of how to become the owner of this corporation?
Well, basically, if you uh, I guess someone put the wool already in my baby chair or something like that. No, of course, when you grow up in a company, I mean, it's in the beginning when you were really small, we had to make like uh, some small wool balls for another company, and then the whole family was sitting in the living room, and we put some stamps on the labels for that company, and these are the things I don't know, 5 to 10 years, maybe something like that. And afterwards, when you had a break in school or when you had free time, you had to work in the company. Of course, not with the big machines, but still, you can make some skeins, you can make some on the bowling machines and different types of things. And after that, when I thought about getting what to learn, what in Switzerland you usually do an apprenticeship, like to study and study to learn an profession, a job. Uh, it, Everybody else in my school they thought, I go for like on the building. House building or go with wood or go to different places. For me, it was kind of a not that I had to do the textile business, but for me, basically, it was clear I want to do that because I think it's a really uh, interesting in a way that you have basically you have from all the parts. or all different businesses or jobs, you have something. So you need an electrician, you need uh, something mechanical. You can work with the machines. You have to think about, especially when you're self-employed, or when you do it all yourself, you have financial things, you have the marketing things. From every part, you have a little bit, And so basically, for me, it was pretty, early. It was the thing that I would like to do on the textile business. So I went close to Zurich. Was a company they made yarn dyeing, but a really big company in that time. It's already a few years ago.
Couple.
And they had really all different type of fibers. They had we even dyed cocos for like the floor mats and the entrance and all this stuff. And after that, I went for the textile school, also another study 2 years for textile finishing. And then I thought about, well, see the big world. And I made a training in Los Angeles for about 18 months. And then you see a whole lot of different companies. It's basically everything you see in Switzerland. It's a tiny lab company against the one in Los Angeles that was really, really a completely different experience. There were the material that was so big machines. As you had, for example, one machine you had to fill about 2,000 meters of fabric, as a finished fabric. They did finished dyeing, finished fabric. Also, you feed the machine with about 2,000 meters of fabric before you got the first meter at the end out of the machine. As it's a really, really, it's about 2 stories high and 5 meters wide and I don't know, 20 meters long. As it's a really, really, and that was pretty impressive. That was really something that I thought that's you don't see that in Switzerland anymore, or I don't know if you even saw that. Yeah,
Well,
and
like when you saying like, oh, I took over family business, it sounds like so reasonable, right? Like you grew up into it and then you took over. But I'm sure your parents, like as a parent myself, right? And I'm imagining like here is this cocky 20 something year old coming back from Los Angeles thinking that he's seen it all and he now knows it all. How was that process done? Like, how did you actually take over the company?
Basically, it was not that early. I had after my short trip to LA, I came back to Switzerland and I worked about 6 years in a different company. Uh, they made just like polyester poly things like for sporting equipment and all this stuff. And I went through the whole company there and in the 6 years. And after I guess 4 years when I started there, I was talking to my father and talking, yeah, how do you, what do you think about to take over the company? And at that moment he said, well, just stay there and keep getting more experience and live your life basically. And unfortunately, about 2 years later, we had to make the decision pretty fast because he got skin cancer. And yeah, like always, when you have this bad news, you think about, well, you don't think that it's going to be the end. You basically you try everything and you uh, look for to get the things better and hope to get better and better. And at the end, basically, it was I guess it was a decision in about 3 to 4 weeks to really think, do we take over the company? I know my wife that time already, and we really sat together and talked about it a lot. Do you really want to come with me and take over the company? And or you think, we should basically, we had our life there and you want to keep it there. And I think the part that really made the decision at the end was also, first of all, she said yes, I want to go with you, and we can be together and work on the company together. And the second thing for me, I guess, was the most important thing. Basically, even if you are employed and you think you have a job that's secure, at the end, nobody knows what happens with this company or with your job. I think you see that, I think also in the US, you see that all the time when somebody way, the big boss tells you, well, it's 1% below what I expect. We should just shut down the company and everything. And when you are your own boss, you have it in your own hand. If it doesn't work out fine, well, it happens. I mean, it's not that you lose everything, but you have it in your own hand, and you can do the things you like to do. And of course, you have to work, and of course, you have to work Saturday, Sunday sometimes, especially when you go to the Swiss Yarn Festival, of course.
When you
Yeah,
took over the
but
company, like because you worked in different companies and much larger companies, did you immediately had a vision of what you want to change and how you want to improve? And was it difficult to not to rush into everything and like go slow about the progress of this company and changes?
yeah, basically, also the change, well, at the end, because my father basically about 2 months after we took over the company, my father died. And I came from a company that works really on high-end materials and everything. And basically, I came back to the roots. I was working with wool. I was working with 100-year-old machines and all this stuff. And it's not something that you can just step in and you know everything right away. So basically, yeah, it's like some to learn something completely different, something completely new. And I think with learning all the machines and all the things, I guess we made some small changes, but not like the big thing. Basically, it was really at the beginning to get to know the machines, to get to know the employees and all the how to run a company. What's yeah, of course, you know how to do it, but at the end, you have no idea what comes to you, and that in the beginning was really hard.
I'm trying to imagine that situation, and you basically it was like, like you had to take over or the company would have to be sold. How did your employees reacted to this young kid stepping in and like basically like learning about the equipment and learning about the process and the dynamic between you and people who were working there for many years? Because I imagine it's not that easy to replace employees, so you have to be very careful about
Yeah.
their feelings and their sensitivities also.
Hmm. I think the biggest advantage was um, that all the employees came from our village. So we live in a small village. We have about 400 or 500 people in Brockenouts, and also basically you know them even as it's not like that they know me or they knew me already before I took over the company. And I think it's also something that you yeah it's kind of how should I say it? It's not that I'm the boss. I don't want to be the boss. I want to work with the machines. It's not that I go out and wear a tie and basically I just make the sales and everything. And a few people are working in the company. So basically, I'm doing the work as well as I go and clean the carding machine. I go and get dirty hands when you have to make all the stuff. Of course, we have the people, the employees that work on the machine most of the time. But I think it's not that. Yeah, I'm the better one or the I think and yeah, I think the employees feel that it's more like some kind of colleagues working together. And also in the beginning, when we took over the company, I was basically happy to get the knowledge from my employee and not, oh, I'm I'm working here now, and I wanted to take everything or make everything different than we did it before. So that's uh, I
Well,
think it's
when
working together. Yes.
like if I buy nowadays, let's say a vacuum cleaner, 2 years go by, something breaks, or I need some replacement part, it's impossible to find the replacement. It's almost cheaper to go and buy a new vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
How do you deal with 100-year-old machinery? Like, what if something breaks? Like, how do you find parts? Is that frustrating to have such old equipment? And have you considered changing it all and making it more modernized?
I think, well, I think the biggest difference between a vacuum cleaner and a carding machine is you're quite different in the price, as it's just not possible to just throw it out and buy a new one. And on the other hand, a 100-year-old machine, usually I referred to she because she is the machine in the carding machine. She starts yelling if something doesn't work. Also, I usually say like in one hand you have like the oil can, and in the other hand you have like a small hammer, and the machine can choose which one she like more. So either way, I start with the oil can, and if it doesn't work, I use the hammer. That's a little bit over the top, maybe. No. Um, also, I think most of the time you really can fix it by just clean it, take it apart. Uh, like I said, with the oil or with some ingredients, you can basically you can uh, keep it running because the machine itself is also in my opinion it's made for eternity. As it's something. It's not like a vacuum cleaner. Then you have a small part and it's breaking down and you cannot repair it anymore. And if also we also had some problems where you have like to rebuild a part that's really broken because something really bad happened. And we're really fortunate that we have like about 30, 40 kilometers away. We have like a mechanical company. They are really specialized for rewinding electrical motors, or um, they basically they take the broken part and then they measure everything and then they build a new one. Also, on the other side, on the other hand, it's not really hard. It's not something you can just order at Amazon and let it bring to you. So, but the machine is not running at that time, and it's also not a matter of money. It's just a matter of time at the end. Yeah.
I want you to educate my viewers and me because I'm always curious about the process, right? So you have a farmer somewhere nearby who shears the sheep, and then they take all that fleece and they bring it to you. Explain us the process, like what's happening as soon as you receive that shipment.
Yeah. Also, uh, I think the most important part when you want like the customer spinning wool or so is really that you get a quality, how should I say, a nice, clean quality. I know it's a natural product. It doesn't have to be like a 100% clean and everything. And I'm also not talking about the grease or the how, I think it's called grease, like the one you have on the wool.
Okay.
I think the most important part is really that you have the wool at the end and not like a lot of grass, a lot of straw in it, like really dirt that doesn't go out by the washing process. And that's really, really important because basically all the better quality you get in the beginning, the better the quality will be at the end. And that's for some customer, unfortunately, a little bit difficult to understand because they bring the wool and they say, oh, you wash it, you make the carding and everything, and at the end they are sometimes disappointed because it's still a lot of trash or waste still in the yarn, and then they are disappointed. So that's basically for sure for me one of the most important parts. After we get the wool, we go to the washing department where we take out all the grease because for the carding machine, it's really important that you have a clean wool. So the needles on the carding, they really can take out the fibers. They, how should I say, not to open the fibers, that you have a really nice even fleece at the end of the carding.
And I saw that, like, I was watching a video about the
Mhm.
process, and you mixing detergent, some soft detergent, wool detergent with baking soda. What does baking soda do in that thing?
So you have for the washing of the grease, you have one part is the soap you use, and the baking soda with all the grease that you get off the wool. It starts like a chemical reaction, and basically we are making our own soap. Also the grease and the baking soda, they go chemical together, and you get an additional soap out of it. So basically, you can uh, save a little bit of soap when you put the
Baking soda.
the soda, yeah, yeah,
Well, when you
to wash it a little bit.
wash it, like, right, like I was watching, and you see like this murky, dark water at first, and then it's getting lighter and lighter. How long does the washing takes? Because it's one thing to watch it for 3 seconds on the video, but I have a suspicion that it actually takes much longer.
Yeah, yeah. I think that depends a little bit on also on the company. I mean, we are, how should I say, not 100% perfect for washing the wool. Usually, also when you go like on the big companies, they have like they put the wool inside, and then they have a continue machine where the washing takes place. And for us, because we have usually the smaller amounts, like 3 to 4 kilos, it depends a little bit. If you have like just a regular alpaca that doesn't have that much grease on it. So basically, we can just put it a little bit of soap and a little like 40 degrees of water to wash it, to rinse it a little bit, take out a little bit of the sand or the dust. That's the bigger problem there. And if you're talking about the Swiss wool, especially when the sheep's lying in the all the stuff you want to get rid of it. You can imagine when you don't wash your hair for almost a year, it's looks a little bit different at the end,
Right, right.
and you have to get rid of all this stuff. So basically, we in the beginning we prepare it. We try to open the sticky part of the fleece to it. So and we have like in our big dyeing machine like a fork that is always trying to pull apart this fleece so to really open it. And after that, we take it out and put it in the in baskets with really hot water. And also then we add the soap and soda ash for the washing process, and that takes about half an hour. We leave it there so the chemicals they can do their job and then really get closer and closer and closer to the part to the wool. And after that, what's really important is to really rinse it well. So you really get rid of all the dirt, all the grease, or all the soap and everything. And so at the end, you really just have the wool left for the further process.
And then I saw you putting it like into something that looks almost like a salad spinner, where it's like spins it and makes it dry, right? Because
Yes, yes. Well, that basically it's like when you have the washing machine at your home. You have to get rid of all the water. Also, when it's really soaked in water, it's not possible to dry it. So basically, it's like in the washing machine before you start the drying process, you get rid of the most part of the water um, to make it cheaper for drying, because the drying part is basically pretty an expensive process to heat up the water and get rid of the water by that part. Yeah.
And then I saw that like there was this guy who was putting the wool on these trays with like some metal netting on it, and then you
Yeah.
put it into a room that's basically like dries it there in the controlled environment. And let me tell you, like, if one of you guys wanna find the perfect workout while you're doing something with yarn, that's like the best part because this is like heavy lifting, right? To take all this like
Oh yes.
from one place to another and then to put it into the drying thing. I mean, that's like heavy lifting there.
Also all the washing, the wool washing process is goes pretty on. Yeah, it's also he doesn't do a fitness routine at the in the
I,
evening. He
I,
just
I
goes
don't think
home and
he,
is basically done for today.
yeah, I don't think he
No,
needs to
it's really
go to
heavy.
the gym after that. So
Yeah.
after the wool is washed and dried, what happens next?
After that, we go for the picker to open the wool, especially when like the higher temperature, and you go a little bit with the mechanic. It start the felting of the wool already, and that's for us it's a bad thing because then you really have to open the wool. So we go on a picker to make the part that really sticks together to open them up, and afterwards we go on the carding machine. We have two. Two sections on on that machine, so it gets really open the fibers and then to get a really even nice fleece at the end of the machine.
Well, there's another thing that there is like we hear these buzzwords, but we don't really understand what it means. And I want you to educate us about what it means. So you have woolen spun or worsted spun. And I know that your factory is woolen spun, but explain us the difference between the two.
When you do the carding process, at the end you can make like a kind of a rope. It's uh, you do the rope thing, and when you start the spinning process right after the carding process, like we do, then you have the woolen spun. And if you have combing process in between, also you have the carding process, then it's the combing process, and the combing process basically takes out all the shorter fibers, so it gets a better quality and because you get rid of the small of the short fibers. So, and that's an improvement for the yarn, of course. And then you go to the to reverse the spinning machine where we make usually the really thin yarns, like for suits or for knitting, where you have the really only the longer fibers there, so you don't have a hairy yarn.
Right.
um, on the opposite, you lose a little bit of the volume because of all the short fibers or the shorter fibers you are still inside the yarn. You can make like more fluffy yarns. Of course, it's sometimes it's bad thing because the shorter fibers they stick out. Also, you have a more hairy yarn, and also the pilling can be worse because the shorter fibers they are not like inside they're not twisted in or drilled in inside of the yarn, so they can come out much easier. So that's why usually you do like the wool for carpets, or when you have the really fluffy thick yarn, you do the woolen spun, and the worst it is really when you like make the really thin yarn for exclusive or high quality products.
So what's the thinnest yarn that you manufactured and what the thickest yarn that you manufacture?
Also it depends when you're looking only when you look only at the spinning machine, we're talking about the thickest yarn. It's about 150 meters for 100 grams skeins, and the thinnest yarn is about 600
Mhm.
for 100. And when you talk about someone who is a worsted spinning has a worsted spinning machine, they're talking about ropes. When I tell them I do this quality, oh, gee, that's not possible. We cannot do that. That's ropes. That's like a really big, thick material, because they worsteds they usually start at like 1600, 3000 meters for per 100 grams. So that's really a big difference. Yes.
Well, I've
Yeah.
heard you use the term designing yarn. Explain me the process of how do you design certain yarn? What goes into that?
That's not that easy to explain. It really depends a little bit. If we think about, or if we have an idea to create a yarn that's missing in our stock or in our portfolio, or if we have like a customer come to us and they tell us, oh, we have some alpacas, we have different type of wools. Because sometimes when you get like a client and they ask me what would you do with the wool, then it's for me it's really difficult to tell them because basically we do only the part in the middle for like a client spinning. We do only the part in the middle. So we take the wool, wash it, and do the spinning process for how should I say for them. So
Right.
basically, they have to come with the idea what they want to do with the wool. They want to use it for weaving. They want to make for sweaters. They want to go for wholesale or resale, or they want to do it for themselves. And so that's basically they need to come up with an idea what they want to do, and then I tell them I can do these lengths, I can do this much of twist of the yarn, and make the cones, or I make balls, or so that's basically just to let them know what we can do when they have an idea. And if we try to come up with a new yarn, or with something new, um, sometimes we talk about what is not, also because we're a small company, we don't have every length, we don't have all the colors, we don't have all different type of things, and sometimes we get an idea to, like the last thing we presented at the Swiss Yarn Festival was a yarn where we mixed three colors together to yeah, have it different, or it's not something you can buy just for like in a regular store, and that's something we'd really try to do to that makes us special, I guess. Yeah.
So let's
And
talk a little bit like you have this beautiful wall of yarn behind you.
yes.
How do you go about designing the color palette for it? Because like when we talk about sweater knitting, let's say, it's not just that you can buy one color of yarn that you like there is whole idea of like if you're doing the Fair Isle, let's say,
Yeah.
so you need colors that go well together but also have contrast. Like how do you design the palette for your colors?
It's how should I say? Also, usually we try to make uh, shade card, or samples that really stays for a longer time. So we did in the past, we did some with one quality. We did really like high fashion colors that stayed only for like one season. And the problem with our customers, until our clients know about these new colors, new shades, they are gone already.
Right.
So we need a little bit more time to tell our clients that we have new things, that you have new yarns, new colors, and everything. So that's why we usually stick a longer time with the same card, with the same color shades, and so that then it's for us it's important that we have like a shade that's or a color card that's more or less complete. So um, that also makes it a little bit that that we are stick a little bit with the same colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why with the Shannon, the one you see here on the back, we really went a different way. So we thought we're gonna mix three colors together. So we dye solid colors, and then we take like a blue and a red and a yellow, and then we mix it together in the spinning department. And so you have you can combine more or less all the colors because we used uh, basically the same colors over and over and over again. But if you're talking about solid colors, it's really a lot of work in the laboratory when you mix the colors together to really match the shades, and then you try like it depends a little bit how big you want the shade card to be at the end. If you stick with one color type, let's say it's a light, it's a medium, it's a dark color, and sometimes you just go take one green and one olive and one blue and one light blue. It depends a little bit on yeah. It's really I think that's really the hardest part. It's not something that we do on all the qualities the same way. I
Right.
said that's yeah.
Well,
Sometimes we try different things.
I mean, another concept that people sort of hear all the time but don't really know what it means is plying, right? So you have two ply, like single ply, two ply, three ply, four ply. Can you tell us a little bit about like how is that decision made? Like and what difference does plying makes?
Yeah. Um, I think the most important, for me, the most important part of the twisting of how when you start plying is um, uh, the appearance of the yarn, or the more ply you do, the stronger you get. So, for example, when you make like a wool for weaving the carpets. Um, of course, we have the single is already pretty thick. That's almost the thickest what we can do. And then you start plying it because I want to make it a thicker yarn. And the more twist you apply also on the spinning machine, or of course also on the twisting machine, the more twist, the more um, turns you do, the stronger the yarn gets. And then it's always a little bit different. If you want to make it a really fluffy yarn, you go usually with the single because the more twist you get, the harder the yarn gets. And if you want something really volume, something really fluffy, it's hard to work with something that has a really high twist. On the opposite, the more twist you get, the more sticks the fiber inside of the yarn. So that's always a little bit what you want to do. If should it be a really durable yarn, then you have to go with the twist. Then you have to go with a higher twist on the spinning as well. Yeah, you make it a little bit even, so you have some advantage in twisting the yarn. So when you have like a single and you twist it like 4 times, then you get an evener quality of the yarn because you mix all the thickness and thinness together, and at the end you have like a middle of the yarn. So the yarn basically is a little bit evener than the if you have only the single one. Yeah.
You mentioned at the beginning that when you run your own business, you have, you know, the benefit of job security, perhaps, even though
I
with the
have it in my own hand. Yes. If it's secure, you never know.
right, because like you don't know what's going to happen. But with that also come the multiple responsibilities. So you mentioned that you're dealing with the equipment, you're dealing with the materials, you're dealing with the financial part, you're dealing with marketing of it. And as I saw for myself, you were even selling yarn yourself and like talking to the customers and all of that. Is there something that you wish you could just delegate to somebody else to take care? Like, is there your least favorite part of that business?
Least favorite part. In my opinion, I'm not a good salesman. I find it really hard to, how should I say, convince people or knitters to buy our wool. So if someone asks me, why do you think I need to buy your wool? And I, I don't like it to talk knitters or clients to talk them into to buying something they don't want or they don't need and I think that's sometimes a part I would like to delegate and someone that really knows what to do and then that they really know how to sell the wool or to sell these type of things. So I really like working with the machine. I like working in the dye house to create new dyes, new colors and everything. And at the end, it's well, sometimes you have to sell, of course, some of your wool, but that's for me,
What,
it's
like when you come to a place like Swiss Yarn Festival, what's your favorite part about it?
um, to meet the clients, to meet other resellers, other vendors. I think all the talking about the wool because um, before Swiss Yarn Festival, when we took over the company, we had a different fest. It's not like a festival, but it was like a
Fair.
creative exhibition. And at the end, we really had to almost, how should I say, uh, grab the people inside of our box of wool, and that's something. Then it doesn't make sense. I think at the Swiss Yarn Festival, you have uh, a lot of clients that are basically waiting for something new, something beautiful. On the other hand, you have a lot of competition there because you have so many beautiful things, so many beautiful wools, different colors and different type of materials and everything. So that's kind of pushes you to get something new, and that's also why the yeah, basically you have to think about something unique because you just put some wool in a box and wait for the customer to, then it doesn't work, I think, on the Swiss Yarn Festival because you have so many beautiful things there. And that's why me and my wife, we came up with this special clothes that I am wearing. It started with a skirt in the Swiss wool because, well, if you have a male in a skirt and something is knitted, that was also really uh, I guess the hardest part for me at the first time when I was wearing this really special outfit. And right now it really started to get something, yeah, clients and sellers there were expecting to see what I'm wearing for the next
So
Swiss Yarn Festival.
is there like any previews? I'm not gonna tell just for us, my
Of
customers.
course, you're not.
Do you know what you're wearing next year? Did you already start?
We have some ideas. We have some ideas. Yeah, but it's not born yet. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But also I also have to say it gets tricky. It gets really tricky because it's not just yeah, you just can knit something and then it's fine. You have a shirt or whatever. It has to be really something that sticks out of the
Oh, you
yeah.
definitely was sticking out this year. I love that outfit of yours.
That's right. No, that was really nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, you mentioned
yeah.
that when you first took over the business, you weren't even married. You were with your girlfriend at the time. Now you've been working for 20 years with your wife in this business. Does that get stressful ever to work with your spouse and with your family in the same business?
Um, also, we have a lot of um, how should I say? A lot of people asking how does it work? Actually, I don't know why it is working, but it is working. Maybe because, like, for me, I have the production part, and she has more or less the sales department, and also she is a little bit more the creative director in our company. So she thinks about colors, she thinks about new yarns, new things, and I try to apply that for the machines we have. So I think that's one part. And for me, I guess one part is um, so we also live like 20 meters away from the company. We built a house, and I think one part that was for me really important. I saw the kids growing up. I was there. If something happened, I was there because that's for me the big advantage when you're self-employed. You can go, and if something is more important, you can let the business stay business and you can go there. So basically, I saw growing up the kids, if something happened, I was there. I can leave it go. And then you can, in the evening, you can doing your office work, or you can do something when it has to be done on Saturday or even Sundays. But you're still there for the family, and uh, I think that's the part that glued us together a little bit. As it's not like she's there and I'm there, or we are 8 hours on top of each other fighting for different type of things. So it's really something that worked out
Well, do
for
you
us. Yeah.
see your kids taking over the business one day soon?
I don't know about that. I think right now textile business, also especially in Switzerland, you get really only the bad news right now. So basically, it's every half a year. Really big companies are closing down. I mean, I still have to work some 10, 15, 20 years. It depends a little bit on how well we are doing at the end. No, and I think it's a little bit different nowadays to really get into this business. Yeah, so there are, I think the walls are pretty high to really get into this business, and I don't know if my two daughters are really interested in taking over this business. Also, the first one right now is making in architecture, and the second one tries to get influencer in. So we'll see about that. I don't know. I don't know. I think at the moment, also, first of all, we are not that far yet. I mean, the older is 18 and the younger daughter is about 14, so we still have time, of course.
Oh.
If it works out in the future and they really want to take over the company, I would be glad. I would be happy to do it. But if they go another way, I'm the last one to really push them around and tell them you have to take over the company because it's not how should I say it? It's yeah, it's not always funny to work in this part. Of course, you get beautiful parts, you get nice things, and then, but yeah, they
I'm
have their
sure,
own way to go.
yeah, I'm sure every work gets its stressful parts and its
Yes,
happy moments.
yeah.
Are you using them to put labels and on the yarn? Like, are they participating in the small things that they can help us?
Yes, of course they. Also, the older one, she's a little bit away right now. She has a little bit time off now, but the younger one sometimes she makes like some Instagram things, or she goes like make some presentations and everything because she really likes to work with the computer and stuff. So yeah, sometimes or sometimes they even have to do the skeins. Yes, depends a little bit um, how you say when the kids uh, they don't follow you. If they make bad things, sometimes we have to punish them, and then they have to make skeins. Yeah,
It's
depends a little bit. Of
when
course.
they get in trouble, they go to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, there is one question that I'm dying to ask you. I know that your wife knitted that skirt and she knitted that outfit. Do you knit?
I feared that you would ask that question. Um, a little bit, a little bit. Actually, on I guess it was the first Swiss Yarn Festival. I was doing a man knitting workshop together with Merit from Butzeria. And I guess she's still kind of worried what happened and at that workshop because we were about seven men and she started like starting making with two needles and go right, go left, and then finish it and everything. And about half an hour after we started, she said already, okay, we let the left part, we leave it go. We just do the other parts. And at the end, it was a really, really nice workshop. We really had fun. Also, at least we seven men had fun. And she was kind of not frustrated, but no, it was really, really a really funny thing to be there. And yeah, also, my wife knows the knitting part much, 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 much more better than I do. But I think it's really, really unbelievable what you can do when I see the patterns, when I see all the knitting clothes, all the possibilities you have. It's really fantastic, and I think it's a really great job. All the designers are doing with making patterns to make different yarns. As it's unbelievable what you can do with just this greasy trash wool you get sometimes. It's a really fantastic story, yes.
Yeah, it's magic. It's like this witch's
Yeah,
cauldron where you're making
yeah.
magic. Well, my husband is also self-employed, and whenever I bring up the idea of retirement, he just laughs at me because there is like no end in sight. Do you see yourself ever slowing down, or do you think this is gonna be your place to go?
Sometimes we think about it. I guess it's um also like I said, we still have about 15 years to go. Also, it's not something that's really on the doorstep right now. Um, but of course, I mean, we had last year we had my wife and me. We had the 50th birthday. So after that, you start thinking about certain things, and I don't know if it's really something that I am doing when I'm 80 or when until also. I think you don't have to carry me out onto the machine to the grave. Um, well, you never know. It really depends a little bit how things work out and what happened to the company and how it goes on. I think we have it changed so much in the last 20 years that for me, I think it's really, really hard to tell where the our way is going in the next 15 years. Also, we made so big changes from like almost 100% felt making. Right now, we're doing wool for carpets. We do hand dyed different things. We have so many different possibilities in the wool right now. Also, it's really really hard.
I find myself like if I'm not knitting, like I'm probably thinking about knitting or something knitting related. I might even be dreaming about knitting or something knitting related. Do you think about other things like when you're not working, when you're not dealing with your production, what else do you like to do? And what else do you think about?
Also, it's pretty much of the time. Also, of course, when we talk during lunchtime, for example, we often talk about different rules, about stuff to do, about work, of course. I think it's really, really just a small part of my time that I'm not thinking about the company. Yeah. We have like a small group of local people that we are working, or not working. We have like a sports how do you call it? We meet on Friday evening, and there it's really not about work. Then it's really about all different type of things. It's really something for me to yeah get the batteries loaded again and not thinking about the company at all. It's really about talking gossip, about talking about all different type of things, but of course not the wool. Um, that's really something for me that then you're completely off. Then you're really not thinking about everything. And of course, when you go home, sometimes you talk with the kids or you have different things. But gets pretty easy to go back to the wool and to start talking about the wool because it is a really important part for us. Yes.
Right. Well, when you said that the past 20 years brought so many changes in your life, are you dreaming about like bringing more changes to your company? Like, do you have that like next 5, 10, 15 year plan?
No, I think it's not. No, it's not really a plan. It's not really a plan that we think I want to in 5 years I want to be there, and in 10 years I want to be there, um, because most of the time I really thought about making these plans. It didn't work out. And it's really something. Also, of course, you think about, oh, we have this yarn is not there, and or this color is missing in this color shade or different type. That yes, of course. Or you want to do a new homepage or the online shop should be done in the next 2 3 years. Yes, but it's not like oh we need to expand in like I don't know what type of business because also my experience really in the last 20 years we we had some clients that came over and talked about it. We had our ideas and then this mixed together it really we all brought different type of wool, different type of yarns on out of this discussion. So I think it's really something that is ongoing, and it's not something I really have to plan and be there in 5 years. I think yeah, it just goes too fast, I guess. It's also like I said, for 20 years, you could do like a 2 or sometimes even a 3 months planning for the company when you run like this fabric and this or this color and then the dye house this colors and this one. And that changed completely. Also, right now we don't. Sometimes we plan a week and in the middle of the week we have sold something in a big quantity that you have to change the whole thing and uh, make the spinning start the spinning part instead of making the fleece part. So that's really sometimes it's almost unpredictable. Yes,
Is there some sort of fiber, animal fiber or otherwise, that you would be very curious to try to work with?
I think I would like to. Yeah, it depends a little bit. Also, I would like to try more with the local wools because usually yeah you know the merino you know the different type of things and I think it's not something that's called a bad wool or a wool you cannot use. I think it's really something that you want to uh, yeah you have to find the right
Use.
way to use the wool. Like for example, the Swiss wool, it's stitchy, it's hard wool. It's not a soft thing. So it's not something for scarves or for hats or for the. But when you go for like for the carpets or you go like for sitting fleece or something, then it's the perfect wool. Or when you like for insulation, when you go like for the pillows or the bed sheets and everything, then it's a perfect wool. And that's I think that's something I really would like to go out to the clients and really tell them it's not something bad. Just think about what do you want to do with the wool, and that's I think that's something I really want to keep going and just tell them it's work with this wool. It's such a wonderful material. It's not something oh it's a Swiss wool you can use it to throw it away. It's the cheapest thing. Yeah, I think that's something we really would like to tell our clients.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure to sit and chat with you and getting to know you better. And I loved meeting you in person. And I hope we're going to run into each other again and I'll get to learn more about your wool.
Yeah. No, it was really nice. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity to yeah, tell your viewers or show your viewers a little bit about our world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christoph.